Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to explore the world of language testing. Now, on the surface, it seems pretty simple, right? But how do you actually measure something as massive and, well, human as a whole language? Today, we're going to break that all down.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? How do we really know how well someone can speak, or read, or write in another language? How do you take something like a conversation or an essay and boil it down to a number that actually means something? Well, that's the whole challenge of language assessment.
And really, that's what this is all about. Language assessment is the process of collecting real, measurable evidence of someone's skills. It's how we turn language ability into actual data, so we can see how people are progressing, figure out if teaching methods are working, and, make smart decisions.
So when you think about it, language tests pretty much fall into two big buckets, and I guarantee you've run into both of them. On one side, you've got the huge, global, standardized tests, and on the other, you have the local, classroom-based tests that teachers create themselves, and they are built for very, very different reasons.
A good way to think about it is like this. A standardized test, that's your global benchmark. It's made to compare thousands, even millions of people from all over the world. But a teacher-developed test, that's all about a specific classroom goal. It's laser-focused on figuring out if students learn the stuff that was covered in that one particular course.
So let's start with the heavyweights. We're talking about the big-name exams, like the TOEFL or the IELTS. These are designed by major professional organizations, and they're used for really high-stakes decisions. Think university admissions, getting a professional license, or even for immigration.
So their biggest strength, the thing that makes them so powerful, is consistency. Thanks to some really rigorous design and scoring, a band 7 on the IELTS means the exact same thing, whether you took that test in Hanoi or in New York. And that's what allows for fair, large-scale comparison.
But of course, they're not perfect, not by a long shot. Sometimes the test content might assume some kind of cultural knowledge that not everyone has, and that can mess with your score. They can also create this thing called a washback effect, which is basically when teachers start teaching to the test instead of teaching broader language skills. And yeah, they can be super expensive.
All right, so now let's flip the coin and look at the other side. The tests that teachers design for their own classrooms. These are built from the ground up, specifically for the students sitting right there in the room.
And here's where they really shine. It's all about something called instructional authenticity. Sounds a little fancy, right? But all it really means is that they're not generic. They are custom-built to match exactly what was just taught in that class. And that lets a teacher give incredibly specific, useful feedback that can really help a student improve right away.
Okay, so check this out. When you lay it all out side by side like this, you can really see the give and take. Standardized tests, they're the clear winners when it comes to large-scale reliability and being able to compare people. But the teacher-developed tests, they absolutely crush it when it comes to being relevant to the context and giving direct, helpful feedback. And all of this leads to maybe the single most important idea in any kind of testing, whether it's big or small, and that's validity. It's a really simple but deep question. Is this test actually measuring what it says it's measuring?
The fancy term for this is construct validity. The construct is just the real underlying skill you're trying to get at, like academic writing ability or oral fluency. For a test to be valid, that final score has to be a true reflection of that skill and not something else that just got in the way.
This is a perfect example of the problem. So imagine a teacher makes a speaking test that's basically a fake job interview. Well, some students might do terribly, not because their English is bad, but because they've just never had a job interview before. So now the test is measuring their familiarity with corporate culture, not just their speaking ability. That right there is a huge threat to the test's validity.
But hold on. Before you can even think about validity, you have to have something else first: reliability. Reliability is all about consistency. It's pretty simple. If you took the same test 2 days in a row and didn't learn anything new in between, you should get a pretty similar score. That's reliability.
Yeah, this is like rule number 1 in the world of testing. It basically means a test has to be consistent just to have a shot at being valid. If it's all over the place, it's just measuring random noise, not a real skill. But, and this is a big but, just because a test is consistent doesn't automatically make it valid.
And that bathroom scale analogy, it is absolutely perfect for this. Imagine you have a scale that is always, without fail, exactly 5 pounds heavy. That scale is incredibly reliable. It gives you the same wrong answer every single time. A language test can do the exact same thing. It can consistently measure the wrong skill, which makes it totally reliable, but also completely invalid.
All right, so we've got these two different worlds of assessment, and these two core principles of validity and reliability. So where does that leave us? What's the final verdict here? Which one is actually better?
And here it is, the big question. After all of that, after comparing the global contender with the local challenger, who wins?
Well, the answer is it's the wrong question to ask. See, it's not about which test is better overall. It's about which one is the right tool for the job. If you need to make a huge decision and compare people from all over the world, you absolutely need a standardized test. But if you need to give a student specific, helpful feedback on how they're doing in your class, a teacher-developed test is way more powerful.
So I want to leave you with this. The next time you come across a language test, whether you're taking it or you're giving it, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what is the real skill, the construct, this test is trying to get at? And for what it's being used for, is it really the right tool for the job?